and I'm actually living in Palm Coast, Florida. My story began probably 4.5 years ago. Well, but before Relive, I had terrible muscle pain, debilitating migraines that would be so bad that I'd end up in the hospital with vomiting and needed the morphine for the pain, and depression really set in. I had hoped for an answer from my neurologist and wasn't getting answers. I had the last hope, and that was denied by my insurance company. At that point, I was really in despair and praying for an answer. I didn't know what the answer could be, but Relive is what was the answer to my prayer. And I was skeptical, but this kind person came on the phone, and she started sharing stories with me of migraines, of muscle pain, of MS, of diabetes. And I just thought that if this was, there's nothing else I could try, and if this was truly an answer to prayer, I needed to give it a try. So I began on the 3 basic products, just as everyone else who needed the help started on 3 times a day. I say like a robot. So from September through December, I just kept taking those shakes. And by December, I visited family in Florida. I was in Minneapolis at that time, and a sister said, well, you seem to have more energy and you're a bit more positive. And to me, that was a plus because I didn't seem to notice it. 2 months later, I was back in Minneapolis, and I started to realize the migraines that I was having very regularly were diminishing, and I was very grateful and continued taking the shakes, and another couple months went by. So I have to remember this is a 7-month point, and my body must have been pretty nourished, but this is how it happened for me. I continued to have that muscle pain, and it was hard to go up the stairs. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to go to the mailbox. It was muscle pain and cramping, and but I thought, it just hit me. We have these targeted products, and is this muscle or joint? And I decided it was muscle pain and said a silent prayer and ordered the Provantage. So on a Monday morning, I already had my morning shake, and the Provantage came. I decided to add the full scoop to lunch shake, and knowing that because it's so bioavailable, it could go into the bloodstream within 20 minutes, and and just did not know what it could do for me. But again, the silent prayer, and took my shake with the Provantage, and 40 minutes had gone by. I realized that. I went into the living room to evaluate, and it was unbelievable. I just stood there, and all the pain I've been dealing with for 15, 18 years just melted away from head to toe, and tears were streaming down my face, and I was praising God, and I had just said, well, if I need this Provantage, I will continue to add that to my shakes, and thank you, God, for this. I have to continue briefly and say that after a few months, I went on a weekend trip. I forgot to take my baggies of product, and I thought, maybe I'm healed, and I could just skip the Provantage and take the basics, and maybe I'll be fine and could save some money. And that's what I did when I got back. But after 4 or 5 days without the Provantage, that muscle pain started coming back. So I have to add that Provantage to my shakes, and I am like, my depression earlier had begun to lift, but especially when that muscle pain and the headaches, when it all came together, and people can't believe the change in me. So that's my testimony at this point, and a lot has happened since. I am just so blessed. I'm a new person and so grateful.
Wow.
Yes, thank you. So in the meantime, I had heard many testimonies recorded in live through my mentor sponsor, and just couldn't get enough. And my dad had prostate cancer for many years, and he had different treatments, but I learned that probably within the next year that his cancer had spiked, and my parents were given a choice of chemotherapy or hormone treatment for his prostate cancer, and they chose to go with hormone treatment. Well, he had the hormone treatment, and 4 months later he went back, and he was only taking one shake. We got him to take one shake prior to that, but that's not going to do much for a person that's really needing the nutrition and has a major health issue. He just had been reluctant, and next time they went back to Mayo Clinic, they found out that his PSA was still high, and it had then metastasized to the bones in 2 areas, and so that was on the treatment that they were giving him, and very little relived. Well, we were devastated, so we went ahead and increased his shakes. We added some targeted products. I was still in Minneapolis, but in touch with them, and 4 or so months later, he went back for his checkup at Mayo, and I was still in Minneapolis, and I got the phone call that his PSA, which had been at 83, his PSA went from 83 to 0, and all scans indicated no more cancer in the bones. So we were thrilled, and he continued to take the shakes, and each time he'd go back, his PSA was negligible and no cancer in the bones, and the doctor would finally said, well, I think we need to see you instead of 3 months and 6 months, and maybe we'll stop the hormone treatment for a while, and I think I'll stop there. We were just so grateful, so blessed, because cancer can take so many different turns, but thank you to God and prayers and to relive. My life's changed, my mom's life, her life has changed, but my dad was given his life back from cancer, and then there's a second story that is a crisis that I will share another time, but thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you, Janet. I mean, amazing stories. I'll do the thing very shortly when everyone shared about how we can't make any claims for cures, but you know the evidence is there, the reality is there when people get test results like that. I mean, for it to go from 83 to 0 is just incredible. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, and as I say, we will have you back on again to share the other half. That will be brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, now I'm going to go over to Germany, to near Düsseldorf, to a lady called Jutta Preuter. I can't remember how to pronounce your second name, Jutta.
Yes,
just
right.
call you Jutta. Jutta, would you like to share with everyone how Relive has impacted your life? Because you have a totally different journey, I know.
Yeah, I'm very happy to do that. Okay, my name is Jutta Preuter. I'm 45 years old, married and mother of 3 daughters. And I'm, yes, as you said, from Germany. In 2008, I developed histamine intolerance with heavy itchiness all over my body. So I had to watch my diet closely, and the variety of food I was allowed to eat was extremely restricted. Only a strict diet kept the itchiness within a bearable limit. In October 2011, it was in 11, I started with Relive, and since then I don't need to abstain from any food I like, and I can eat everything again. Also, my skin is clear, I can sleep much better, and my menstrual cramps disappeared. And I have to say I'm very, very happy about that. I feel amazing and full of energy. And after getting healthy, I started my Relive business. Now I work 2 to 3 hours a day in average, and it's compatible to my family. The kids are at school, so my work begins. The amazing thing is that I can do it everywhere. The business is simple, not easy every time, but we have so much fun all together, and I like it very much to connect many people. Carla, my upline, always says, keep it simple, and so we do. In my best month, I earned 1,400 euros. including a cash bonus of 750 euros. And now I'm working to let my business and my organization grow. And yes, every day I think, oh, well, it's a great pleasure to be part of this wonderful company.
Well, Jutta, I know that you actually like to run, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you like to share with everybody
like to run,
how that has, how Relive has helped you with that? Has it helped you with your stamina, or?
Yes, I take the shakes or the Energize with me with my run. I run about 5 kilometers, and it's helping me to it's I don't know if it's the right word in English.
Your recovery?
Yes, my recovery. I can recover quicker. Before that, I had to sit down and have a break, and have to take 5, 6, 7 minutes or half an hour to get my work done. But now it's so I return or I come back home, and it's everything is okay. There's no need to make a break, and I can work further. And it's yes, my recovery is better, I can say. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
And I can,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful, Jutta, and I know that you work closely with Britta and obviously with Carla, who's over in the States. So, this is how this business grows. Carla grew her business into Germany, and now you're there, and your business can grow anywhere. That's the most amazing thing about this.
Yes,
this
I'm
business.
working on it, and it's great fun to do this business. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the call and sharing for us.
You're welcome.
For those of you listening in the States, it's now 10:15 at night for Jutta, so we really appreciate her coming on to share.
But it's no problem. I'm fit.
Thank you. Now you have the energy, thanks to Relive.
Yes, that's right.
Thanks to Relive. Well, thank you so much. Well, now I'm going to go to Michigan, to the snowy Michigan, to Mary. Mary, would you like to share your story and also that of your son? That would be wonderful.
Well, absolutely, and I do appreciate the opportunity to share. Thank you, ladies. Well, let me start just preempting. My whole life, I've been super high energy, one of those type A's, and very, very tuned into health, always. I had a workout regimen that was second to none. Very healthy, a lot of nutritionals, et cetera, et cetera. So I considered myself on the upper echelon of being fit and doing all the right stuff. The last 10 years, unfortunately, have brought on many different life changes, unexpected, but nonetheless life changes, and prompted moves from the East Coast into the Midwest here, and consequently those changes have affected my routines and my eating habits. As you can imagine, a lot of stress associated with those, and as time has gone on, my overall fitness has dwindled, the stress, the fatigue, a lot of fatigue, and consequently found myself, it's been years prior to getting on Relive, which, by the way, I've only been taking for about 3 months now. Sleepless nights, getting up 4 or 5 times a night, and consequently, fatigued in the day, and when you're fatigued, depression starts setting in, and it was just a vicious cycle. I noticed the last couple years a lot of food allergies that cropped up. whereas I'm a very healthy eater, but all of a sudden I couldn't eat the berries or eat the nuts, and an allergy would pop up here and there that would actually send me to ER, having anaphylactic results, and walking around with EpiPens, afraid to really put anything to my mouth. In addition to that, the genes, my mother was basically crippled in her 40s with rheumatoid arthritis, which scares all of us in the family. Her deformities and her pain in her toes and her feet and her hands was really quite debilitating and profound. And within the last year, I've noticed deformity, which my hands are so important to me, noticing deformities in my joints of my hands. And if anybody's familiar with rheumatoid, it's a red swelling of the joint, burning, your mobility is hampered significantly. Well, I've been taking Relive. I joined. I came in as a master affiliate, joined and started taking the products, the Artheffect now and the Lunarich. And I have to tell you, 2 months into it, the food allergies have waned. They're almost non-existent at this point. I'm sleeping through the night, which I haven't done in years. Consequently, my energy is way up there. I'm back at the gym. I'm doing yoga, something that I haven't done for years, just due to the fatigue. And my arthritis, most importantly, I don't have the nodules that I had developing this last year on my joints have disappeared. I don't have the redness. The swelling is gone. And I must say, being in Michigan in this last weekend, we had 16 inches of snow, which put me out there for about 7 or 8 hours in a 24-hour period, shoveling like a crazy person, freezing, and, worried about it. Had more energy I was actually looking for things to shovel because it was so nice to get out there and put that kind of energy out. But I have not had any effect in doing so. And what I was worried about mostly in getting out there in the single digit cold, I was worried about my hands and my joints, and there's been no effect at all. It's wonderful, and I do attribute that to these products. They're amazing, amazing things. I must say as well, I've brought another master affiliate on who was in severe pain, joints, neck. She couldn't move her neck. Her back, she was scheduled for surgery. After a couple months, she's as mobile and free from pain that she couldn't imagine. The surgery is canceled. And that 2 or 3 months is minuscule compared to other avenues of treatment. So that's my story, and I'm really excited to grow the business. But I'll always be taking these products, I can tell you that.
Well, thank you, Mary. I mean, that is totally life-changing for you, but now you've changed other lives too, and that's so rewarding. It's a very special business when you can actually impact the lifestyle and the health and lifestyle of other people through this business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing, and maybe your new master affiliate would like to come on and share for us one day. That would be